last week, an angry mob attempted to derail an event at the University of Buffalo. Well, the event called America is Not Racist, Why American Values Are Exceptional, featured former Texas GOP Chair Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, a black man himself. And West's speech was organized by the organization on the campus club called Young Americans for Freedom. The protesters, made up of black and white students, started screaming and banging on the walls, forcing the event to be cut short. And Lieutenant Colonel Allen West joins us right now. So, Colonel, what happened?
Well, it's good to be with you, Bob, and a blessed Resurrection Day tomorrow. What happened is that we are finding that we don't have free speech when it's according to these leftist students, especially on these college and university campuses. The only thing that they agree with is their accepted speech. And so here you have a black man that was born 61 years ago in a blacks-only hospital in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, and grew up in the same neighborhood that produced Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His dad was just a corporal in the United States Army, a segregated army in World War II, but yet his middle son rises through the ranks, becomes a lieutenant colonel, commands 600 in combat, becomes a member of the United States House of Representatives, but yet these students still want to sit around and talk about how they're victims, how they're oppressed, and how America's a racist nation. And they did not want to hear from someone about how you can overcome all of these things.
Not only that, but do you believe that they are aware of the extreme racism that those of your generation and those that preceded you experienced? And I'm not saying there's no racism now anywhere in this country, but like you're saying, you can overcome that. But it's almost like they're unaware of how far we've come.
Well, the thing is, and they asked me the question, institutionalized racism does not exist in the United States of America anymore. Civil Rights Act and other pieces of legislation have made sure that, and law have made sure that that's not the case. But we do have systemic racism, and systemic racism now, today, is the soft bigotry of low expectations. And when I tried to talk to them about the number one thing confronting the black community right now, fatherlessness, they start screaming and yelling. When I talked to them and gave them the example of Booker T. Washington, who was born into slavery, but in overcoming slavery, he got a great education and became one of the great orators and educators that this country has ever seen. And as they said, we don't care about any of these things. So obviously history and all of these great examples means nothing to them, especially when you can understand that just an hour away from the University of Buffalo in Rochester, New York, the statue of Frederick Douglass was torn down even.
Yeah. Do you believe that folks like this can succeed in life if they maintain that victim mentality? Because what you're saying is you're pointing out, yeah, the world may not be perfect, but you're trying to focus on the things that you can do. How important do you think that is?
Well, it's absolutely important. As a matter of fact, one of the things I would always tell my young officers is don't tell me what you can accomplish, tell me what you can achieve as far as the mission. And no, these young people are not going to be successful if they're going to go out there and kick and scream and rant and rave and throw tantrums like little children when they don't get their way. But what's even worse, Bob, is that you have these universities, the administrations, the professors that are allowing this abhorrent behavior. And really, truthfully, they're complicit. Look at what just happened recently at Yale University in their law school. So somehow adults have to take charge once again, because right now the inmates are running the asylum, and that's what happened at the University of Buffalo.
We've only got about 20 seconds, but you knew there was going to be a problem when you went there, because a lot of people are getting upset. What made you go anyway?
Because warriors live by a creed, and that creed is that we move to the sound of the guns. We don't run away from a battle. We don't run away from a confrontation. And I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And one of those First Amendment rights that we have is the right of free speech, the right of free expression. So I will go anywhere and challenge anyone for the constitutional rights that we have and make sure they're preserved.
Colonel West, thank you so much.